Chapter 714, A Siren. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Purple bamboo grew all over Zixia Sacred Mountain. The leaves swayed and rustled in the breeze, with some drifting down like purple butterflies. Mulynxi stood in the purple bamboo forest, her hair blowing in the wind. She stared at Zhang Yuochen with a lovely smile. Zhang Yuochen gazed at her for a good while, and then he smiled and shook his head. "No," he said. Mulynxi rolled her eyes. Obviously, she did not believe Zhang Yuochen's answer. She groaned petulantly. "Elder brother Lin Yue, though I've only been here for 3 days, I've heard a lot. They say that senior sister apprentice Chi is intimate with you, and you're called the perfect couple in the Yin and Yang sect. You know, numerous disciples envy you secretly." Mulynxi cupped her chin and looked at the clouds in the distance. Sarcastically, she said, "Senior sister apprentice Chi is a fairy-like beauty, while elder brother Lin Yue a fine-looking man. Both of you have outstanding talent in the Tower of the Sword. Even I, your little junior sister apprentice, also think you're a perfect match." Only 2 words, perfect match. Mulynxi seemed very irritated, although she was not normally petty. But when he looked at her pout, Zhang Yuochen could not tell if she was really angry. Zhang Yuochen walked up on the stepstones and said, "Senior sister apprentice Duan Mu, is there another meaning in your words?" "Yes." Mulynxi latched on to Zhang Yuochen's arm, raised her pointed chin, and glared at him. She said, "You said you came to the Yin and Yang sect to investigate. So, why did you grow close to Chifu, that seductress?" Zhang Yuochen smiled slightly and said, "This is not a suitable place to talk. Let's go to my small practice yard." Zhang Yuochen brought Mulynxi to his practice yard, and then he released spiritual power to protect the whole yard against eavesdroppers. "Senior sister apprentice Duan Mu, how dare you sneak into the Yin and Yang sect? It's too dangerous. The Lord of Zixia Sacred Mountain is a half-saint. If he finds you, the consequences will be inconceivable," Zhang Yuochen said seriously. Mulynxi had returned to her true body, but Zhang Yuochen was still accustomed to calling her senior sister apprentice Duan Mu. Mulynxi's face was girlish, but her smile was coquettish. She came up step by step and backed Zhang Yuochen into the corner. She almost rested her soft, tender body on Zhang Yuochen and said, "The half-saints in the Yin and Yang sect don't pay much attention to outer disciples. Besides, the high priest helped me conceal my cultivation and aura before I came here. If no one recognizes me, my true identity as a saintess of the moon worship sect will remain unknown." Although Mulynxi had not seen Zhang Yuochen for only a few months, she had counted the days bitterly. She managed to meet with Zhang Yuochen again. The emotions inside her erupted like a volcano. She wanted to do nothing but hug Zhang Yuochen tightly, to melt into him. Zhang Yuochen could feel clearly the warmth and the softness of her chest pressing against him, and he could smell her faint fragrance. He said, "Senior sister apprentice, you're acting quite unseemly." "Unseemly? Chifu can lure you. Why can't I?" Mulynxi raised her charming face, looked at Zhang Yuochen, and lifted her slim arm to tear off the hairband on her head. Her black hair fell to her waist and fluttered around her face. And then, her beautiful hand drew the collar of her robe down, exposing her white camisole, sexy ribs, and smooth jade shoulders. Undeniably, Mulynxi was extremely beautiful. She had black eyebrows, bright eyes, glittering red lips, and silky white skin. Her beauty was breathtaking. Zhang Yuochen could feel the blood pulsing through his veins in the presence of such seductive charms, especially below the waist. It felt like there was a fire burning, driving him to lose his head. However, he noticed that Mulynxi's tender body trembled slightly. Obviously, she was nervous, too. At that moment, Mulynxi compressed her red lips as if she had made a big decision. She stretched her hands down to loosen Zhang Yuochen's waistband. "Senior sister apprentice, you," with a grave look in his eyes. Zhang Yuochen reached out a hand to clutch her wrist. He said slowly, Don't take this joke too far. Mu Lingxi found her wrist clenched tightly by Zhang Yuochen's pincher-like hand. He was clearly determined. It suddenly occurred to Mu Lingxi that she had not yet entered Zhang Yuochen's heart. So what secret was hidden in his heart that could cut him off from the outside world? Any girl who got close to him was like an insect flying towards the fire. What? Who wants to take a joke too far with you? Mu Lingxi groaned playfully, withdrew her hands quickly, and pulled her white robe up again. She turned around elegantly and got herself dressed decently again. I just wanted to test if you'd be lured. Not bad. You passed the test. She turned back as if she had forgotten what had just happened. She stared at Zhang Yuochen with a bright smile and said, before coming to the Yin and Yang sect, I sussed Chifu out. Do you want to know her real story? Zhang Yuochen asked. Is she from the moon worship demonic sect? Mu Lingxi rolled her starry eyes, resentful of the words moon worship demonic sect. But she did not take Zhang Yuochen personally. She continued, Chifu is not only from the moon worship sect, but she also enjoys high status in the sect. Every 3 years, the demonic sect will pick a girl with the best physical quality in all of Kunlun's field, and canonize her as saintess. The sect will provide the resources necessary to train her to be the strongest among her peers. Chifu is one of them. She must be 9 years older than me. The moon worship demonic sect set a high standard for each canonized saintess. If one of them failed to reach the required cultivation at the certain age, she would be deprived of her identity as a saintess. Besides, some saintesses had been assassinated or died during the experience before they fully developed. Therefore, even though the moon worship sect selected a saintess every 3 years, there were only 12 saintess in the sect. Some of them even concealed their true identity and lurked in the top forces of Kunlun's field. Publicly, the demonic sect had only 4 saintesses. Zhang Yuochen was quite surprised. He had not expected Chifu to rank so high in the demonic sect. Do the Kiz belong to the moon worship demonic sect? Zhang Yuochen asked. The Kiz were an aristocratic family. They could trace their nobility back to the Middle Ages. They were on good terms with the Yin and Yang sect. If it was a force of the demonic sect, the eastern region would be thrown into violent turbulence. Not really. Mu Lingxi shook her hand and said, the demonic sect has always been scheming to gain thorough control over the Kiz. But the Kiz foundation is too strong to shake overnight. The sect has spent 200 years on it, but they have not succeeded completely yet. Presently, the demonic sect has only controlled 4 of the Kiz 8 main veins. That is, half of the Kiz total power. Zhang Yuochen was more confused, and he asked, since the moon worship demonic sect hasn't taken full control of the Kiz, why did it still select Chifu as a saintess? Because Chifu is the daughter of Lin Suxian, answered Mu Lingxi. Zhang Yuochen furrowed his brow. He asked, who is Lin Suxian? Mu Lingxi sighed and said, in fact, Lin Suxian is also a legendary female. She was a saintess of the demonic sect, and she was even the first beauty in Kunlun's field 200 years ago. In her time, everywhere she went she was followed by numerous young geniuses. It's hard to count how many heroic figures threw themselves at her feet. Someone even killed thousands of creatures of a primitive world just for her smile. Someone else chopped 7 half-saints in half in a day just to see her. The people who have died for her are too numerous to mention, let alone the people who were heartbroken. Although Zhang Yuochen had not born in that age, he sighed ruefully after Mu Lingxi's description, and he commented, what a siren. Mu Lingxi said, Lin Suxian loved only one man in her life. Zhang Yuochen said with a smile, I think he must have been envied by all the men. So what? At that time, he could defeat those of his age with a single move. Mu Lingxi said proudly. Who? Zhang Yuochen was curious who the man was. Such a formidable figure would not merely be a nothing. Liu Xu, said Mu Lingxi. Surprised by her words, Zhang Yuochen said, predecessor Liu Xu. Zhang Yuochen was quite familiar with the name Liu Xu. He was the leader of the Saint Liu gentry, as well as Liu Shuaihan's great-grandfather. Like Zhang Yuochen, Liu Xu had been born in the Omen Ridge. All the Omen Ridge warriors considered him the best. Liu Xu possessed mediocre talent, but with great effort, he had managed to fight his way to the peak and, incredibly, turn into a saint. He was a legend indeed. 100 years ago was the era of the 5 talents listed in the 5 heroes. The era 200 years ago belonged to Liu Xu alone. As Mulinxi said, Liu Xu could defeat anyone with only a single move. Zhang Yuochen nodded repeatedly and said, "It's a romantic legend indeed between a hero and a beauty." Wait, since predecessor Liu Xu and Lin Suxian were lovers, is Chifa the daughter of Lin Suxian? Who says a beauty and a hero must have a happy ending? Mulinxi looked downcast and sighed. In this world, there's a power that is too incomparable to fight against.